It is Saturday morning cartoons, and the rain has let up anyway here in Sacramento, and Constance has just been outside doing something. Were you?
Taking trash out.
You were taking the trash out. Of course, that's my duty.
Well, I was taking recyclables out.
We'll say hello for Saturday morning cartoons, dear.
Hope you're all in your pajamas and bathrobe and your bunny slippers with big bowls of, oh, I hate to say it, Cocoa Puffs or Frosted Flakes. I used to actually eat Frosted Flakes with strawberry ice cream. That's how gross my life used to be.
That's as bad as it ever got
That's
for
the
her.
worst
Yes.
my vices ever were. Now it's down to mayonnaise. But I still only have that maybe once a week. No, there's other things, believe me.
Well, among her other vices, Constance has been studying Liberhet for a project that she's on, and it just so happens it fits in kind of very perfectly with our last chapter here of little essays toward truth. Okay, as you can see in the course of my reading this to you, this inexpensive and modest 2000, let's see, when was this? No, 1991 edition from our friends at New Falcon. And it was a small edition, and it has long since gone out of print. And but you can find the text of it, I'm sure, on the internet. It's one of Crowley's most important works, and it's a very small. And this is the final installment today, and it is the chapter that's simply called Truth, and these are little essays toward truth. So, as my friend in Nebraska pointed out today, just as you read the book, these essays take you toward truth, the last one. So I'm going to immediately begin with a digression. The title is Truth, and it says, what is truth? And I'll digress. You know, when King Pentheus had Dionysus hauled in front of him to interrogate him, busting him for disturbing the peace, Dionysus didn't say a word. Well, tell us about your ministry. Tell us what your truth is. Dionysus didn't say a word. When Pontius Pilate hauled Jesus in front of him for disturbing the peace, Pontius Pilate asked right out, what is truth? And in the fable, Jesus said nothing also. What is truth? In another holy book of Thelema, Class A document, Liber Het, Liber 156, which is the number of Babylon. Babylon, of course, is associated deeply with number 3 on the tree of life, Binah, and the grade of master of the temple, the opening act of the supernal triad, across the abyss. toward the end of this very, very short 22 stanza book, Liber 156, Crowley says, starting with verse 13, "Yea, verily, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. Unto thee shall be granted joy and health and wealth and wisdom when thou art no longer thou. Then every gain shall be a new sacrament, and it shall not defile thee. Thou shalt revel with the wanton in the marketplace, and the virgins shall fling roses upon thee, and the merchants bend their knees and bring thee gold and spices. Also young boys shall pour wonderful wines for thee, and the singers and the dancers shall sing and dance for thee. Yet shalt thou not be therein, for thou shalt be forgotten, dust, lost in dust. Nor shall the aeon itself avail thee for this, for from the dust shall a white ash be prepared by Hermes the Invisible. And this is the wrath of God, that these things should be thus. And this is the grace of God, that these things should be thus. Wherefore I charge you that ye come unto me in the beginning. For if ye take but one step on this path, ye must arrive inevitably at the end thereof. This path is beyond life and death. It's also beyond love. But that ye know not, for ye know not love. And the end thereof is known not even unto Our Lady, or to the beast whereon she rideth, nor unto the Virgin her daughter, nor unto Chaos her lawful lord. But unto the crowned child is it known? It's not known if it's known. Therefore unto Hadit and unto Nuit be the glory in the end and the beginning, yea, in the end and the beginning. But I digress. What is truth? It's absurd to attempt to define it, for when we say that S is P rather than S is Q or S is R, we assume that we already know the meaning of truth. This is really why all the discussions as to whether truth depends on external correspondence, internal coherence, or whatnot, neither produce conviction nor withstand analysis. Briefly, truth is an idea of a supra-rational order pertaining to the neshama, not the ruach. Neshama is the soul, intuition, second highest part of the soul. Ruach is the intellect, or the your meat brain. That all rational conceptions imply that we know truth, and that truth is in their propositions, only shows that these so-called rational ideas are not really rational at all. Truth is by no means the only idea that resists rational analysis. There are very many ideas that remain indefinable. All simple ideas do so. At the back of all of our efforts is the dead wall that we must already know what we are pretending to find out. Consider the statement of the angel in the fifth aether of the vision and the voice. All the symbols are interchangeable, for each one containeth in itself its own opposite. And this is the great mystery of the supernals that are beyond the abyss. For below the abyss, contradiction is division, but above the abyss, contradiction is unity. And there could be nothing true except by virtue of the contradiction that is contained in itself. Unquote. When that was given to the Master Therian, how obscure a saying and hard that seemed to him. Yet, in the light of the above paragraphs, how simply obvious the proposition has become, and how far short of truth. What then can be meant by the title of this compilation, Little Essays Toward Truth? Do we not all assume a perfectly illogical conception of truth as an entity of, quote, that supra-mundane order whence a whirling flame and flying light subsist? That's a quote. Right now I'm assuming that's either from the Chaldean oracles or Blavatsky's Voice of Silence. Do we not instinctively assimilate these ideas of truth and light, though there is no rational nexus? Is it not clear, then, that we do understand each other perfectly, so far as we can understand each other at all? In a sphere such as Zoroaster calls intelligible, which, quote, subsisteth beyond mind, unquote, but which we should, quote, seek to grasp with the flower of the mind, unquote. Must we not then assent to that other oracle in which that Magus most sublimely asserts, quote, for the king of all previously placed before the polymorphous world a type, intellectual, incorruptible, the imprint of whose form is sent forth through the world, by which the universe shone forth, decked with ideas all various, of which the foundation is one and alone. From this the others rush forth, distributed and separated through the various bodies of the universe, and are borne in swarms through its vast abysses, ever whirling forth an illimitable radiation. They are intellectual conceptions from the paternal fountain, partaking abundantly of the brilliance of fire in the culmination of unresting time. But the primary, self-perfect fountain of the Father poured forth these primogenial ideas, unquote. It is to be remembered that the oracles of Zoroaster continually proclaim in words of the boundless brilliancy of the doctrine here set forth. These essays are indeed a species of commentary thereupon. Okay, so he's telling us that Little Essays Toward Truth are a species of commentary upon the oracles of Zoroaster. And I may say that I only came to understand them as perfectly as I do now in the course of this writing. That's such a comfort to hear Crowley say that. Because I think in one of my books, Homemade Magic or something, I've got a little chapter that says, do you want to learn magic? Then start to teach magic. You don't know what you know. Very often, you don't know what you know, or you don't know the importance or the significance of what you know until you start to explain something to somebody else. People ask, I can't sit down to write a book. I can't sit down to write an essay or an article. Yes, you can. You can sit down to write a book or an article. The hard part is the sitting down. Okay, that being said, I will continue. Now, this same truth, which is light, which is implicit in each spark of the intelligible, what is it but the self of every man? It is this that informs his every motion, this that lies closest to his heart and soul, being indeed their mainspring and their dial, the principle of section and of measure. Now, initiation is, by etymology, the journeying inwards. It is a voyage of discovery, O wonder world, of one's own soul. And this is truth that stands upon the prow, eternally alert. This is truth that sits with one strong hand gripping the helm. Truth is our path, and truth is our goal. Aye, there shall came to all a moment of great light when the path is seen to be itself the goal, and that every hour one of us shall exclaim, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Yea, the life also, life eternal in time and boundless in space. For what is life but the continual resolution of the antinomy of the diverse by the spasm of love under will, that is, by constantly explosive, the orgiastic perception of truth, the disillusion of individuality in one radiant star of truth that ever revolveth and goeth and filleth the heavens with light. I beseech you earnestly, dear brethren, to grapple manfully as mighty wrestlers with the ideas of these little essays, to understand them. And I believe this is another quote from the Oracles of Zoroaster, to understand them with the extended flame of far-reaching mind, measuring all things except that intelligible. But it is requisite to understand this, for if thou inclinest thy mind, thou wilt understand it, not earnestly, but it is becoming to bring with thee a pure and inquiring sense, to extend the void mind of thy soul to that intelligible, that thou mayest learn the intelligible, because it subsisteth beyond mind. For thus not only will you develop the spiritual intuition, the very neshama of your divine being, but in the degree of your concentration, of your power to slow down and finally to stop the irritable movements of your radiosynaptic machinery, to transmute these essays, the prima materia of your great work, passing them through the stage of the black dragon, in which your rational ideas are wholly destroyed and putrefied, you will succeed in inflaming them in the fierce furnace of your creative wills, until all things burn up together in one blazing mass of living, of relentless light. And thus come ye to Sama Samadhi. Thus are ye free forever of all the bonds that bound your Godhead. Back into a quote. A similar fire flashingly extending through the rushings of air, or of a fire formless whence come the image of a voice, or even a flashing light abounding, revolving, whirling forth, crying aloud. Also there is the vision of the fire flashing courser of light, or else a child borne aloft on the shoulders of the celestial steed, fiery or clothed with gold, or naked, or shooting forth the bow shafts of light, and standing on the shoulders of a horse, when if thy meditation prolongeth itself, thou shalt unite all these symbols into the form of a lion. Then shall ye understand what is truth, for ye shall understand yourselves, and ye are the truth. And with that, we bring to an end our reading of Little Essays Toward Truth. And just as a recap from Lieber Het, let's see here, wherever that was. Maybe I'm not meant to read that. Yea, verily, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. Unto thee shall be granted joy and health and wealth and wisdom, when thou art no longer thou. Okay, that's it for today. That's it for Little Essays Toward Truth. I hope you've enjoyed it and are able to find it on YouTube or on my site here if you want to go back and review. And tomorrow will be Sunday school. So until then, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.